All right. I think, yeah, it works. So that's why I like using Skype because it worked very well in China. Have you been
So
China?
no, I haven't been to China. Only country in Asia that I went to is Japan.
Ah, okay, nice. What did you do in Japan?
Just traveling. Just went
Just
there
traveling. Okay.
for vacation.
Okay. Cheers. I see it. You are drinking something. It's tea or
Uh,
coffee?
Actually, just hot water.
Hot water. Okay. Cheers.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I'm drinking the black tea.
Ah,
Mhm.
I like black tea. Usually I drink green tea, but black tea is also.
Yeah, especially in the winter, in China, people use to drink green tea like in spring and summer because it somehow makes you feel fresh, and also
Mm,
for the healthy part like anti-cancer, blah blah blah. But for winter, we have like black tea. It's somehow warming up your stomach. It's
right,
we drink hot water, all the time is about hot water, no matter in spring and summer or winter. Okay,
right.
so where are you now? Which city are you in?
So I live in Campinas. It's a city in São Paulo in Brazil.
Nice. I was in Sao Paulo that in 2018.
2018. Oh,
Yeah,
what did you come here for?
I went to there for teaching Kung Fu and also a little bit
Right.
traveling. I went to Iguabe, where is a small town, I think 300 kilometers, far from Sao Paulo.
Mm,
Yeah.
right.
So, you what are you doing over there? I mean, what do you do over there?
I'm mainly an English teacher right now. I teach
Mm-hmm.
English online.
Ah, nice, nice. I see that you did really, amazing kung fu on a wheelchair. So,
That's also something that I do.
so.
But yeah, it's my hobby.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I I just do it for passion.
How many years you practice Kung Fu and what kind of styles? Or, it's just,
Hmm.
I mean, martial arts. I see that you are doing fencing as well, right?
Yes, yeah.
Mhm.
So I actually started officially. Well, I always did sports since I was very young
Mhm.
because of my disability. It was always something that my parents were always uh, trying to get me to do because it would be good for my disability. So I did mostly swimming, but
Mhm.
also other traditional Brazilian things like soccer.
Mhm.
But then when I was around 13 or 14, I started getting interested in martial arts. So
Mhm.
I first I wanted to do karate,
Mhm.
but the school that we went to wasn't very my mother didn't like the style that was doing there. It looked very violent to her.
Mhm.
And then one day she was driving by a kung fu school teaching chole fat kung fu,
Mhm.
and she thought it was very beautiful. She loved it, and she said, "Well, instead of karate, why don't you try kung fu? It looks much nicer."
Mhm.
So I thought, okay, I will try kung fu. I tried it for a while, and then I actually found, oh, I actually like this more than karate. So I stuck with kung fu,
Mhm.
and during this time, I could walk. So I trained normal style kung fu, Chole Fut, without doing anything, sitting down or in the wheelchair or anything like that.
Mhm.
So I from 13 until I was around 17 or 18, I practiced, normal Chole Fut. and then around 18, I started to because of my so my disability. It was sort of like this. I had problems walking, but it was something that I could, I could walk, but I walked with difficulty. But then when I was 18 years old, I started to lose balance a lot. I had to start walking with a cane. And so when I started walking with the cane, then I thought, oh well, now I can't practice kung fu anymore. So I actually stopped for a while. And
you realize what just a little. So you realize that you couldn't or you could practice.
I realized that I couldn't. Because
okay.
back then I didn't. Well, not that now I think that I could have, right? But back then,
yeah.
There wasn't very much this concept of kung fu in the wheelchair or martial arts in the wheelchair. Back then, the idea was, well, if you can't stand, you can't fight. So so that was the thinking that at least I had back then, and that a lot of people had back then. I only started considering doing kung fu again around 2014 when there was the World Cup and the Olympics was going to be in another 2 years and things like that. So I started hearing more about wheelchair adapted sports like basketball and all these other sports. And so so these ideas started floating around in my head of wheelchair sports, and then I thought, wow, I miss practicing kung fu. I wonder if it would be possible to do kung fu in a wheelchair, just like people do basketball in a wheelchair, people do fencing in a wheelchair, and things like that. So I didn't find anyone who was doing that sort of thing, but I had a friend who worked with me in a computer company that I had worked with, and he was a Tai Chi instructor. So since he was my friend, and I knew that he was teaching, he gave private lessons, private lessons in Tai Chi. I talked to him and I said, hey, do you think it's possible to adapt Tai Chi for a wheelchair? And then he said, yeah, that's actually something that they did in China in 2008. They had shown that stuff on the Olympics and things like that. And I said, oh, okay, that's very cool. So I started. So first, I like I said, I did Chole Fut, and then after I went to after I lost my ability to walk, I started training Tai Chi in the wheelchair. And so this was around 2015, and then my friend, actually, your image is frozen. Do you think there's? Can you see
frozen?
me?
Yeah, I see you. Yeah.
Well, for me, you are frozen here in the image.
Yeah, don't worry. I think it's yeah. I see you clearly. Okay. I see everything there.
Okay. So this was 2015, and I started training Tai Chi with him, and then
he's
soon
Chinese
after,
or he's Brazilian?
He's Brazilian.
Okay.
Right. And so after a few months of training, he said, look, you have achieved a very high level of Tai Chi, and you could go to a tournament. And I said, well, but they don't have tournaments for a wheelchair, do they? And he said, well, no, there isn't, but you can participate in the regular tournament. They have a special category. And I said, well, okay, in that case, let's do a tournament. And so we went to the tournament, but since there weren't many competitors, my participation in the tournament was it was just for the evaluation, for the points. The medal, I wasn't gonna get the medal anyway because there were no other participants. But the interesting thing was seeing what points the judges would give, and I got high marks for the first for the first participation, something around like 8.5 or 8.6 for my forms. So I did the Tai Chi 24 form, and then also the Tai Chi Gen 32. And I got high marks for those, and so I was very pleased with those. And then so I started doing that, and then I decided to create my own forms, something that would be specific, that would be created specifically for the wheelchair. So I created one form that mixed some elements from the 24 form with 42 and a little bit of Chen style as well. So I sort of created my own form for hands, and then also for Tai Chi Jian. And so and those are the ones that I posted, on the web. And after a few years, the people from the São Paulo Kung Fu Federation, they asked me to become a director in their in the federation, to sort of help develop wushu here in adapted wushu here in São Paulo. So that's sort of what I'm doing right now. I'm sort of developing more ideas for people to practice kung fu sitting down. And I'm right now I'm working on trying to adapt Choi Fut for the wheelchair.
Wow, it's an amazing story. Absolutely inspiring. When
you.
I see that your performance and no matter the Tai Chi Jian, as you mentioned, so it's something meaningful inside. Something, I can see that your passion, your calmness, and your ideas, perhaps your philosophy are into it. So it's not a specific form routine, like as you said, 24 forms or 10 Tai Chi Jian style, but it's something mixing up. I think probably you made by yourself based on some routines or forms. And actually, I used to teach the disabled people, both physical disabled and mental disabled people. So I taught the mental disabled kids in Bali, Indonesia, for helping them to keep the balance. For them it's hard to walk properly. They don't know their actions. They don't know how to walk properly because it's hard to control for them. And I taught, as I shared with you, I taught a community for the elder people who are on the wheelchair in Germany, but it's a Turkish community. And I shared Kung Fu with gentlemen who couldn't see properly, in China. So for me, it's and also another gentleman who has, both arm are, just half part of the arm from Mexico. So for me, it's really, maybe like you, when you teach your students, sometimes like you are giving something to your students, but actually, for this situation and also for the other students, they are empowering you. You get a lot of inspiration and the energy from them, because it's really make you think more deeply than you used to think in this situation. How Kung Fu can, beyond the fighting, beyond the martial arts, how Kung Fu or martial arts can enrich your life experience and even enrich you as a human being. much
Yeah.
more beyond than only the fighting or martial arts part. But of course, it makes you understand even deeper about how to fight and how to self-defend in this specific situation. So yeah, so it's you just did an amazing job, and in so it's how can I think you will benefit more and more people and than you imagine, I guess, and I believe so.
I certainly hope that's true. I would be very happy if that's true.
It's definitely because later, I think 10 days or 2 weeks later, I'm going to share with a group of people who are on the wheelchair in China with a friend from United States who build up a community for helping the people who are on a wheelchair. So we are going to work teamwork together to do something for a better, community, and to make people, no matter who we are, no matter what kind of situation we are facing, we still can, enjoy the life, enjoy the all ways of life, somehow like this. And I would like to say thank you very much and for your great works you have done and you are keeping doing. And I hopefully that when the pandemic finish, you are more than welcome to come to China to my town. Here, Henan province is the central China, is the birthplace of Shaolin Gongfu and Chen style Tai Chi Chuan.
Right. Yeah.
So,
I certainly want to go there one day. I really hope this pandemic is over soon because China and specifically Henan province is somewhere that I really want to go to.
And also, for if you went to Japan already, you may find something quite similar. I mean, not all, but something. Even the characters. Some are very traditional Japanese characters are exactly the same as Chinese characters, and also the other like the tea ceremony, like even karate.
Right.
Somehow created based on White Crane Fist. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So and keep in touch, and you are so welcome to share with your works with me about that, so I can share with as I shared with you, I got inspiration already, and it maybe will inspire the people who are in China.
Right. I will be very happy to share.
And I think I will definitely go to Sao Paulo again because one of my best friends in Brazil is living in Sao Paulo. She's an international environmental lawyer, and she's now building up an office in Sao Paulo. And yeah.
All right, that's great. I look forward to that. I hope.
Yeah. Okay.
I hope we'll be able to meet soon.
Definitely. Okay. Have a very good night, and I see you next time. Okay. Keep in touch. Okay.
All right, we will. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good night.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.